Hello and welcome to my vlog. My name's Tina and I'm bobbing along nicely. This is a shorter than usual, I hope, midweek vlog from me because it is reveal day for the Busy Bee Pattern Challenge or the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge Part 1. So if you haven't seen my vlog before, I'm one of a number, I think there are about 7 or 8 of us actually taking part in this challenge, plus lots of other people. The challenge was set by Sam of Sequin Girly Creates, and it's loosely based on the Sewing Bee programme, but without any of the pressure. And I'm hoping that lots of you will have joined in. I know I had a couple of comments from people saying that they were hoping to join in. So the idea that it, rather than be on a deadline, is spread over 3 months. And month 1, September, is the pattern challenge. So in true Sewing Bee style, Sam suggested where we might find our patterns, and they were all from Marilla Walker. Now, she doesn't design patterns anymore, unfortunately, but she has made about half a dozen of them free. They're available free on her website. So we were all tasked with choosing a pattern from her site and making it for the challenge. Now, if you've seen my vlog beforehand or before, you'll know that I've already made the Bella Night dress. I absolutely love it. I have plans to make more, and it's quickly gone into rotation in my wardrobe to be worn as often as possible. So I thought really I shouldn't make a Bella Night dress for this challenge because it's not something I haven't made before. So I chose the Nautilus top. Now, the fabric I decided to use is actually leftover fabric from a previous project. I hate having fabric lying around. It gives me the heebies. I'm struggling to keep on top of my stash, and I'm really trying to use up any leftovers. But being a plus size, that's not always easy in terms of fabric requirements. I've seen lots of links to sites where you can make this out of 1 metre of fabric. Not if you want sleeves or if you are plus size or have a bust. So I was interested to try this pattern out with fabric that I had left over to see if I had enough to make it. The answer is yes. I decided that I would try and make the long sleeve version, although it does say that this is a cropped top. So I'll tell you a bit more about it. It's a cropped, loose fitting round neck or V button front top with a choice of short grown on cuff sleeves or pleated longer sleeve with elasticated cuff. Who doesn't like a pattern with options? The neckline is finished with a facing. There is also potential for transforming the top into a dress by shortening the top and adding a gathered rectangle skirt. Again, more options. There are 2 size ranges. The first one is for a block of 5 centimetres between the upper bust and full bust, which I believe is a B cup, and size 2, which is drafted from a block with a 10 centimetre difference. Now I know that's a D cup because that's my size. So I went with size 11, and the only real difference between the 2 sizes is the fact that there's a bust dart, and so obviously that's a great start for me. I laid out the pattern pieces and decided quite quickly that I couldn't get the full sleeve out of the fabric available, but I really wanted to make the top in this pattern. But the great thing about the sleeves is there's actually the option, although there are pleats at the top, it has the option to fold those out before you cut the pattern. So that's what I did. And here's the finished result. Hopefully I'm inserting a photo here. As you can see, it's very, very cropped. Now, I knew this. Normally, I would have automatically added about 10 centimetres to the length. But the fact was I simply didn't have the fabric. So I went with it. I thought I'll make it and see how it turns out. Now, I'm not comfortable with the top of that length, but there's another way of styling it. In fact, I'm wearing it now. I'm actually wearing it with a bib front dungaree dress, which I've also pop a photo up here. It's a Waves and Wild pattern that I made earlier this year, having bought the fabric at the show in Birmingham. Super comfy. I quite like sort of wearing these kind of dresses around the house. They're great for layering. So I will wear the top, albeit not with jeans, because that would make me far too self-conscious. But I do think that the fabric that I got in my recent Beyond the Pink Door box, subscription box, which is the one I showed you the other day, would make a really nice top. Now, somebody actually suggested, I do, forgive me, I've forgotten who it was that suggested that I make a top or blouse with it as opposed to pyjamas. And I think you're right. Actually, because there's no pleating on the front, we're not going to lose the pattern details. There are pleats in the top of the sleeve, but the sleeves become quite quickly quite voluminous. So I think actually that's what I'm going to make with my subscription fabric. So it's a great pattern, but the best thing about this challenge is that we get to see all of the other sewists and what they have made. I know at least one of them has made a Bella Knight dress. Certain person, not mentioning any names, Jasmine, has made 5 versions of this top. So do go across to all of their vlogs. I'll put a link in the bottom to their names. But it's incredible to see what we've all done with the same pattern. And also to see other versions of the Bella Knight dress, because it's a real favourite of mine. So there you go, that's part 1. I will be back at the beginning of October to talk to you about what I'm going to be doing for the second challenge, which is the Transformation Challenge. Now, that's not something I do very often, but I do have a garment that I made that I really need to change. So I'll come to you next week with that, talk to you about it, what it is, why it needs changing, and my potential plans for it. I'll also be back later this week, hopefully with a Friday Sews, where I'm going to talk to you about the pattern I nearly didn't make, but which has actually become one of my most favourite garments ever in terms of things that I've made. Quite unexpected, very, very comfy, and pattern that you can all become involved with yourselves if you wish. Because it's the new pattern from the My Handmade Wardrobe Weekend Sewing Club. So I'll come back and tell you all about that on Friday. I'll show you what I've made, why I like it, why I was so pleased. But until then, have a great week. Do pop over and see the other vloggers. They've got some really inspiring makes. And I'll catch you all soon. Thank you very much.